What is up, guys? I'm going with the old school approach to my vlog, going to the old webcam, bring some nostalgia back. But yeah, going with a new look though with my glasses. I got these glasses at the start of the year, and it's kind of the theme, with me and my prep. This prep and with how things are going, I should say, the last year or two is that I'm finding, prep and life at the same time is kind of getting a little bit harder, as I move along. My eyesight is not as good as it once was. I can still see distance. I just can't really read things up close. It gets to be a blur, so I have to wear these glasses to kind of help with that. Um, but it is what it is. I'm managing the best I can, and I think, with the prep, I've been dealing with, minor aches and pains, minor little injuries, and I've been dealing with a lot of life stress, this entire year so far. So it's been very challenging. And this past week, I came down with a head cold, so it's kind of like just more is getting piled on my plate. But with that said, I'm starting to see some daylight. The last week, I would say week and a half, I would say I'm probably 90% of myself, as far as the aches and pains and injuries. So I was able to deadlift again, albeit not extremely heavy, but still I'm starting to walk the loads up now with no pain. I squatted last Saturday, 3 plates with no pain. So that is all really just really good for me. I mean, that got me pretty pumped up and pretty excited. Not for the fact that they're not anything special as far as the loads I'm moving, but the loads are heavy enough to really kind of test to see where I was at, and I passed the test. So now I'm excited that I could probably start to move forward, and regain some of that lost fullness that I had with my legs, because I was seeing a little bit of, I wouldn't say atrophy, just flat. Just my legs were looking a little on the flatter side. And the month of January, and into the week and a half of February, I was on the attack as far as fat loss. So I dropped quite a bit of weight. So, combine the fact that, I was pushing my body pretty hard as far as fat loss, and then not being able to train my legs the way I would like to, that, I was looking a little bit depleted, on the lower body side of things. So what I did last week was I actually, because I did come down with a head cold and I was trying to come back to full speed with my leg training and kind of regaining some flatness with those legs, that I went ahead and took a diet break last week. So basically, what I did was just, took my low days, put them up to what my refeed numbers were, and ran that for close to a week. Obviously, the scale is going to move up, a little bit from that. It didn't go up, but maybe 2 pounds at most. Um, I restored a lot of fullness. I restored some decent energy levels, and I was able to capitalize on the extra food because obviously I was able to get my lower body training going in the right direction. So it was definitely a good move. It came a little premature though. I wanted to run the diet break, anywhere between 8 to 10 weeks into the start of this prep, as far as like starting from January. But I had to cut that short and run it right around 6 weeks just because of the reason I just explained. So, and then this week, I'm off the diet break, but I increased my calories a little bit higher from where they were prior to the diet break, just to ensure, my training is going the way I want it to, and recovery and helping out with this head cold that I got. So the fat loss, obviously, it's been kind of slow. I'm probably down maybe quarter pound to half a pound over the last 18 days though. So I did, gain a couple of pounds over the diet break, but that's already come off already. And I'm starting to see a little bit of differences, on the scale anyways. Physique wise, I definitely feel like I'm starting to look more like a bodybuilder. It's been, a really slow progress this prep, purposely. I definitely want to go on the slower side of things. My past two preps back in 2011, 2014, they were more conservative preps than I've ever have done in the past. and I definitely retained more muscle size because of that. So with this prep, I'm kind of taking it a step further and practicing more patience than I've had in the past. And I'll admit, seeing such slow progress when it comes to the conditioning side of things, I am getting a little bit antsy and a little bit eager. But when you go through things like I've gone through, where life stress is really high, coming down with head colds and things like that, and then having these little aches and pains and slight injuries, I just don't feel like it would be a wise decision on my part to really try to amplify the diet or amplify a bunch of cardio and try to create a larger deficit, because it's just going to make the life stress is going to make my head cold. It's going to make the aches and pains and getting my leg training back up to speed a lot harder. It's going to make it a lot harder. So I think, looking at it from the bigger picture, I want to make sure that I take care of all those things first and foremost, because once those get all back into order, then I can, once I'm healthy, feeling really good, the life stress has come down a little bit, I'm going to be in a much better environment to go ahead and be a little bit more assertive, because I'll be in a better place to handle, you know, that much that much of a push. So that's kind of what the priority is right now for me, is to just make sure that I keep ironing out all those other things, which it's getting a lot better. Like the life stress is definitely down from where it was, and the injuries are, like I said, I'm like 90% now, so feeling really good. The training's starting to pick up, and when I look back in hindsight now, at the beginning of January, when I look back in hindsight as far as like why some of this stuff started to unravel on me, at the start of January, I was coming off my Christmas break, the holiday break. I gained some weight from that, so I was enjoying life. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a more of a push early on in January, because I'm at a much higher body weight, my body fat is higher, and I can afford to be more assertive when I'm in that state. It worked well. Obviously, I went from like 198 to 192, 193 in about 2, 3 weeks, somewhere in there. Got down to right around 191, 190 in about 5 weeks' time. So I was making good progress as far as fat loss, but it started to take its toll because it was a fast pace. It was a pretty good sized deficit. I was doing a lot more cardio with it, so the recovery probably just wasn't there. My volume in the gym was probably a little too high for the amount of calories that was coming in. So, and then you factor in the life stress. It's just the environment it started to get to be a bit too much. And I think basically what I was trying to do is, trying to put, let's say, 2 gallons of gasoline in a 1 gallon tank. So it's just not going to work. Your gas is just going to spill everywhere. You're not going to be able to clean it up, and it's just going to be a big mess. And you just pray that nothing catches fire. So basically, that's in a nutshell kind of what happened. So I know now, moving forward, that basically I need to stay within myself. Basically, just the volume I'm doing in the gym, cap it out. Like I used to do back in 2014, it would be like, okay, 3 movements, maybe 4 at most per workout, 3 sets per movement. Don't go to failure too often. Maybe if I need to get after it here and there to maybe hit a rep target, or hit a progression, go for it. Not on the compounds though, not on deadlifts and squats, but on some of those safer movements, then I'll do it. But for the most part, just trying to leave at least 1 to 2 reps in the tank. That way I'm not really taxing myself too much to the point where the next day I'm waking up feeling just wiped out, and it's harder to recover from when you do go to failure too often. So every once in a while, yeah, it's okay. But I mean, even on like some accessory movements like arm work and things like that, I mean, it's pretty safe to go to failure. But to do it every single workout, every single set, I mean, that's going to accumulate a lot of fatigue. So just keeping things in check in the gym, 1 to 2 reps shy of failure, three exercises per workout, maybe 4 at most. And then basically, yeah, this has been how I've been training, the last probably 2 weeks now, and I think that's really kind of helping me to perform better because I'm more rested, and when I get into my training sessions, I'm feeling more like myself versus feeling like I am just like kind of limping along. So that's been going really well. So that's the formula moving forward for me. And I think, if I just, take one day at a time, do what my body's going to allow me to do, then I'm going to end up progressing a lot better that way. So sometimes when we think like more is better, I mean, more sometimes can be worse. And I think, we always have to think that, better is better. And, if it means maybe you do a little less volume than maybe you think you should be doing, but it allows you to recover, it allows you to keep training regularly, you're probably going to see, I should say, training regularly in a healthy state, you're probably going to see a lot more sustained progress. And that's what I think I got a little bit lost in there for a second. So all in all, yeah, I'm back on the gain train, I guess. I'm on my way. So that's about it, guys. I'll leave you guys with some training highlights. I hope you guys have a good week. Hopefully this helps at least one person out there to think about things. And